First, I want to get going, say like and subscribe to the video, comment, help me out, get me to 100 subscribers. It'd really help. I also want to say I'm not a financial advisor, but I am a licensed broker. There is a very distinct difference. Brokers, we tend to don't care. You don't want that. You want a financial planner. Get someone who's a certified financial planner who can help you through this process. But while we're at it, let's get back in the game here. As you know, my fan favorite quant is doing its thing right now. Although I would say now's a good time to dollar cost average. We're kind of waiting for another dip here. I wanted to get back into the 80s so we can snag up quite a bit here. But I would say still great buy. We're looking at this to be around 10,000 in 5 years. So if you're looking at $110 and expecting to be 10,000, you're on the up and up for it. I also want to say I'm also really taking a hard look at our friend XRP. Let me just favorite this right now. Oops. Before I forget on this computer, because I switched new computers. If you want to say ETH is up. Now, I was tracking this. If we were to look back, let's just go to a month. Like, it was down in the dumps. I think it was even at one point, it was at 700. It was like 750 or something like that. And that was probably a good time to buy into this. I did not personally buy into this, but there is a lot of hype. It bounced back. You would have doubled your money if you had put it in there and you were selling right now. It is a good buy. However, overall, I am taking profits in this right now because I did heavy investing 4 weeks ago, and I just been on a tear through this. So, and as you see here, there's a lot of talk about Hex. I'm not so sure about it. However, the growth potential is there on it. I'm just not sure of it being there in the long term. But if you're looking as a trader, I would trade into this, wait till it dips down a bit again, and then kind of trade into it. But for the last 5 weeks, the market's been on a rapid growth rate here. So we went up I'd say about 10-15% overall in the market, but some coins like this one about 40% gains. Now we're far from it, from the monthly gains here. So me being a trader, that's what I look at. I don't look at the year and say, okay, I'm trying to beat here. We trade on month levels, so you're trying to buy low and sell it here, and you're trying to do it in a short time. That's what we're looking at. But for Polkadot is one of my long-term ones. We want to make sure that gets to where it's going, and we want to make sure that we are investing at the right times. Now, this one, I think it'll be good even if you're investing if it goes up to $15, because my target for this is $100. Right now, it could be a 10x on it at the 834 it's at right now. They have a lot of great things going for it. They just released on their own YouTube channel like 12-hour videos on DOT and how it's progressing and everything. It is a good watch. I suggest you do watch those before you decide to invest in this. This is not something I'm trading. This is something I'm doing long-term holding with staking. Right now, I stake it on 2 places, Uphold and OKCoin, because OKCoin gives like I think 15% in what I'm staking in, and Uphold gives 10.2, better than where else I've seen. I don't have to worry about joining a validator by having it on the Nano Ledger. I just move it onto an exchange and stake it there. So, and I like staking on Uphold because one, I personally invested in Linko into Uphold, so I'm in Uphold pretty deep. So my crypto holdings is not as big as my Linko holdings. So if Uphold shutters, I'm going to lose more on that side than I ever will with what it has in its crypto holdings. But so I'm not too worried. However, Uphold is a good place too. I'm going to do a video on that down the road, because it is, to me, it's one of the better exchanges. Very simple to use, easy for you beginners, straightforward, and even though it's pricey, I like people that price themselves right and price themselves to the worth. That's how you run a good business, and it means they're going to be here for a while. So next one we're following is XRP. It had a weird jump. The XRP was setting up liquidity holders and things like that. There's a lot of strange things going on. However, it's at 39 cents. It's still a good buy. However, like I said, I'm not putting huge chunks into this anymore. I'm only putting like, $100, $200, maybe at most $500 into it. Because back like 2 months ago, I was putting like $2-3 grand just shoving it in here. Now for our if I can find it here, our test portfolio that we're doing, this experimental portfolio, as of right now we're at $9,100. As you can see, in here XRP is one of the biggest holdings. As you see, I hold quite a bit for it. Now, like I said, you can't really track these going up and down every day, but doing it on a 2-week basis, beginning of the month and middle of the month, really works for me for tracking purposes. But if you're going over this, this is based off of earning $50,000 a year, being able to put away a decent chunk every month into this. This is where we're at, and we made $849.75 so far in 15 days. Now, for most people, that's a huge chunk of change on your check, right? If you're working the average wage in America, this is about half the paycheck. So you have to think of it like that. You're trying to grow and make significant sums of money through this. And I do apologize if I'm cutting out in here, because I am at my sales office for my moving company and phones may be ringing so while I do this. So just forewarning you guys. So appreciate you guys sticking with me on this. So as we go back over here, we got some great things. Now, if we go by the week of market cap, as you can see here, Bitcoin's up 5%. We're back at the 23,000 mark. It kind of spiked up here to 24. We got people saying it's going to 12,000. We have people saying it's going upwards. But if you were a trader and you say, let's just say you bought one Bitcoin and then you sold it somewhere up here, you made $4,000 in a month. Let's just think about it that way. That's how you trade. This is how you truly trade. Is you get down here and you go up here. But Bitcoin's up here. I think we're on a pull up here. I think we're starting to get back up. I have a feeling we're going to get up to the high 40s, and then we're going to go back down, and we're going to go down to about 15,000. When we hit the 15,000 range, that's when I plan on buying huge chunks. Now, I own a couple businesses. I do a lot of other things on the side, a lot of other income sources. So like I have real estate, I have businesses. So I'm able to say, okay, it dropped to 15 grand. I'm going to shove 100 grand and we're going to move forward. If you're not at that level, don't be worried that you can't get in. Your earnings will be smaller, but you got to start somewhere. And like I said, I started somewhere too. Like 5 years ago, I had nothing to my name. So I started with $0 to get going, and now I'm here. I will say this with Bitcoin, I think it's going to be like the mid-level one. I have a feeling Quant's going to overtake this in a decade. That's just my personal opinion. I think Quant's going to be the first one to 100,000. I don't think Bitcoin's going to get there. I don't think it's going to get there. I think we may get to as high as like 80,000, and then it might drop. But we got the other halving coming in 2024. That might push Bitcoin over that 100,000 mark, so who knows. But right now, I just can't see it outside the halving. And I really don't want to overreach on Bitcoin for that. But as far as a stable source of value, yes, Bitcoin is good. And right now, getting in on it is probably a really good idea. Dollar cost averaging. My interest payments off of stable coins and everything come in Bitcoin, and I just hold Bitcoin. So that's what I do. I haven't actually bought Bitcoin. I just get it off of interest and just stick it in there and just leave it alone. That's how I do it. But if it goes down to 15,000, I can tell you I will buy it if it goes to 15,000. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Tether getting depegged. Kind of went down a little bit here in a year, but if we look at it, it's kind of stable, right? It's been at $1, but people are betting on this coin collapsing, and I don't know. Part of me says like we kind of done with the bankruptcies, but I have a feeling Tether is going to be the one that might go bankrupt, or something might happen to this, and people are expecting it. I don't personally have anything in Tether. I personally have it in USDC, so that's where I put it because I have on one of my platforms. I'm able to get 25% off of it, so that's where I put it. And I don't have a lot in there compared to it's like 10% of my total crypto portfolio. So now we'll go over here. We're gonna go over to Coin Marketplace because I want to take a look at the market cap because we are total market cap is at just shy of it's at 1.099 trillion. So we're kind of growing. We're taking a little pullback, it seems. That's what it seems like we're doing. Even though everything is, as we see right now, is kind of green across the board. But, you know, people are taking some profits. Smart people are taking some profits. But I see it now. Retail investors are starting to slide in there. And starting to put their money in. Well, overall, in the 2 years, this is good. It's a good idea to start putting money in right now. Because even I'm putting money into Cardano, and I'm looking at Solana a little bit. Because it's at a good price. It's at a good price. I think we can make some money on it. But I don't see it being here in the next 5 years. Like, it's constantly having issues, constantly crashing, and it's just in my short time of being in crypto since December of 2021. So I'm a little leery on it. However, a lot of staking is like 4 or 5%. It might be good to get into it right now. As you see here, we're at about just shy of 20,000. We're at 20,399 cryptos. So, and as we always say, about 85% of those are rug pulls and stuff like that, and scam coins. So, you got to be leery about what you're investing in. I try to stay within people that I understand and know, and that's all I can recommend that you do. Is if you understand it and you believe that it's going to work for you, then invest in it. Otherwise, if you can't see how it's going to work, don't invest in it. But right now, I could tell you, right now, I have holdings in Polkadot, Cardano, Chainlink, HBAR, XRP, Atom, and I think I'm missing something up here. I have USDC coin. That's really it. I have one coin. I don't mention it. I lost a lot on it. I lost 90% of that value. I don't see that coming back. So, but I'm not even selling it. I'm just ignoring it. And of course, I have Crow. Crow, I also lost 70% of its value. However, I'm dollar cost averaging in right now, and my goal is to hopefully get that black card or qualify for the black card. So we'll see. We'll see how this year goes. Although I have a feeling because of the election cycle, we're going to turn up and things are going to get to where we want to be. I'm looking at pre-market data for the market. It kind of looks like we're just going to be flat across the board. I don't really see a lot of movement that I can expect out of this. However, if we're going to take a look at the news on this, there's going to be a lot of red coming soon. I'm going to tell you that right now, because in the U.S. markets, there is a crap ton of zombie companies. I think it's like 70% of tech and new companies that IPO'd over the last 10 years are all zombie companies. And they're operating that way because of all the free money that was sloshing around. Now the faucet has been abruptly shut off, and they're not giving out much more. So companies are starting to have to either win or die right now, and a lot are dying. So a lot of the tech startups, they're going to go. The WeWork, I actually have a short position on WeWork. I think this is the end. I think it's going to crumble. But there's also a positive side to WeWork too, because the younger generations, millennials, and was it Gen Z and whatever, they don't understand the power of networking and working together in an office space. There is an intrinsic value in doing that. I was born in the early 80s, and I'm not I'm like at the edge of millennial or at the edge of Gen X. But I'm the last generation to where I was in my early 20s and we didn't have social media. So like that goes to show you to where I'm at. So I know the power of networking, going to the office, networking with your boss, going to company events, doing all that stuff. If you're not at the office, you can't do that. If you can't network, you can't grow. I have one of my cousins who is a remote worker, and she does a great job for the company she's worked at. She's worked at them for like, I think almost 18 years now. 20 years, because she's a few years older than me, and she's worked for them for a long time, but she can't get promoted because she works at home. And I said, when you work at home, you limit the capabilities of what your productivity and your personal career growth will be. So it gets very hard for like, you can't run a department but never see your department members. You have to be in office. You have to meet. There's a thing about face-to-face meetings that work a lot better than working at home. However, I will say this: productivity dropped 90% with at-home work. So I can tell you right now, look, I'm not even disciplined enough to be at home. I can't even be disciplined enough to make these videos for you guys. Because when I get home, I'm playing games. I'm going to sleep. I'm doing something else. I'm watching a movie. And I own businesses and do a lot. I have to come to the office. I know I'm not disciplined in that. 99% of people are not disciplined to work from home. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's very hard to separate your time, get your stuff done for work, and be able to go do everything that you need to do from home. It's very hard. And I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I like going to an office. I have a setting. I know I'm focused on doing what I need to do and getting it done. So I have a feeling the offices are going to come back. I own a moving company. We're moving people to Dallas, New York City, Seattle, and Los Angeles, and Las Vegas, and Phoenix. And, of course, Austin, Texas as well. So we're moving people to the big hubs. People are working, still moving there. Because, it's a recession right now. People are moving to where the jobs are. Despite how high the rent is, people obviously don't care. Got to move to where the jobs are. Now, I will say this. I don't think we're in as bad as a recession as everyone else out there says. Everyone's expecting doom and gloom. I'm not expecting doom and gloom. Because I worked on the banking side. I know there is not as much predatory lending in the real estate market as there was 12 years ago. However, or 14 years ago. However, the auto loan industry, which really isn't going to be as bad as people think when that collapses fully, it will have a 2008 collapse, but it's not going to affect the economy as a whole. I do think Carvana will disappear. I got a huge, full disclosure, I have a huge short position on Carvana. And I was a former customer of Carvana. I had purchased a Mercedes from them, got it delivered, and I could not register it for 2 years. And had to give it back, because they canceled the loan. Like, that is how, I'm still going through that process in court, and that was 4 years ago. So I bought the car 6 years ago. 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I gave it back. 3 years ago, I'm in litigation to get my loan payments back. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, that was about $40,000. I would like that back, please. You know. So I'm saying, like, I don't expect Carvana to be around because they don't. It was a good idea, but the practicality and the laws regarding how cars have to be sold, you can't buy. It doesn't allow for a car to be bought like that. And with how all the disclosures and everything, yeah, I'm telling you right now, it's easier to go to a dealership and get your tags there, and you know it's fully taken care of. They have 30 days, and trust me, that dealership is not losing their dealer license, nor are they losing their license to sell Mercedes, BMW, Ford, or whatever dealership it is. Trust me. I know they're a little bit more expensive, but they actually contribute more to the community. They pay more, they pay people better, and from my experience, I sold cars, 22 years ago. And I knew the technicians were making like $60,000. That was like 1998. That's 26 years ago. Man, I'm old. They were making $60,000 back then. Now I'm hearing they're making like 80, 90. Some are offering $100,000 for those positions. But I just say I'm personally going to buy from a dealer or from a physical location from now on. I'll never buy online ever again. Now, there's been hundreds of thousands of customers with my experience from Carvana, and the two guys have already been in a fraud investigation. I don't know if they've been convicted or acquitted. I have no idea. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying they have been involved in a fraudulent investigation, which leads me to believe that Carvana was a cash grab. As soon as the stock hit an all-time high, the two majority owners cashed out. They cashed out. That to me is a red flag, so I shorted their stock. I short on 30 days, and I haven't really paid attention, but I'm like up significantly on it, and I expect Carvana to drop. I expect Carvana in 2 years, if it's still around, under $10 a share. If it has not gone bankrupt and disappeared or have been seized by the FBI for all the fraud that's been going on. I do see fraud. I do see fraud in there. I wasn't an irregular accountant. I was at one point fraud. I did loss prevention and fraud investigations, and I can tell there's enough there that I would be digging around looking for stuff. So something tells me that something is going to happen with Carvana, so I'm going to just kind of sit tight on it and wait. Let's go back over here. There really isn't a lot. Let me just go over here because I also want to talk about some good news here. Let's go take a look at Ford. Because Ford's been popped up on my radar 4 months ago. And I called this, you guys, when they said they laid off 8,000 of their workers, and I called it. They're going to start laying off people, reducing their costs, increasing their sales, and increasing their profit margins because they're fully going to switch over to EV, and they're mimicking Tesla's model. They are planning to go direct to customer. They're setting themselves up for direct to customer. There will be no more Ford dealerships in the sense that they are right now. There will be just a Ford owned location set to dealer. So, and then they're finding out people will travel to these dealerships. So there's going to be less car dealerships. Unfortunately, that's going to wipe out, I'd say, probably about $100,000 or more jobs just intrinsically through the markets, because you're getting rid of dealerships, you're getting rid of salespeople, you're getting rid of technicians. Although the technicians will go and find work again, but the salespeople, those jobs will disappear permanently. But hey, for disappearing jobs, it's fine because we have a low birth rate, and we know how that goes on there. So people aren't making enough people anymore. People aren't making enough people, and we should be ready to go on this. And I also do say, like, I'm not a fan of the Mach-E aesthetically, but it's got enough people that it's really, really good for it. And you know, they got a huge waiting list for it, and the Ford Lightning, the F-150 Lightning, got a waiting list on it. I fully expect this to be up around, I would say around $30 in the next couple years. But the reason why I'm also in this, because they're going to start paying some serious dividends soon. They're going to pay some serious dividends. And with that said, that's all I got. I got to get back to work. You know, phone's ringing off the hook. I wanted to do this a little longer, kind of show you what I'm looking at and everything. But keep in mind, stay safe out there. Like and subscribe to the video. And follow me on Twitter. Follow me on TikTok. You know, I'm trying to help you guys out, show you guys how I'm trading. I'll be back later today with another video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.